Thanks, Stephen. And that is the Constitutional Court has reserved judgment in the case brought before it by the New Nation movement, which wants independent candidates to run for parliamentary office. In the current party-based system, individuals have to belong to a party or form their own organisation. The Constitutional Court heard this in arguments today. SABC Senior reporter Mzwandile Mbeje joins us now for more. So, Mzwandile, very good evening to you. Let's start with the main heads of arguments. What were the salient points?
I think basically the point really that was advanced by the New Nation movement was that there is very little accountability, because people are sent by the parties there and then they don't have a direct relationship with the voters. So if a system were to allow someone perhaps who is brave enough to say, here I am, I want to run for president, so the system must be able to allow him or her without tying him or her to a political system, which somehow is will have its own confines around that particular individual. I think that was basically the thrust. And what they are also saying is that this electoral law is actually somehow in conflict with the Constitution, because it excludes people who don't want to be associated with political parties, but they have an interest in the political future of the country. So you can't always want to do things based on a system that you don't trust and you don't like.
So what did the NNM's lawyer, Advocate Thembeka say about that Section 19, subsection 1 of the Constitution on an individual's right to choose, and how perhaps the electoral system needs to be overhauled?
Absolutely. And I think all sides, they're actually very careful insofar as overhauling the entire system. But I think they are looking at perhaps amending certain sections. Remember, Tsepiso, that our Constitution is very clear that our electoral system must be a public, a proportional representation. So, if, for example, a court were to rule to overhaul the system, in fact, it will actually be going into the Constitution itself, because the Constitution has made it clear, so all you can do is just the variations of that PR.
But on that, Mzwandile, you would know that there have been various studies into this, how the electoral system could be made to better suit our Constitution, but also individuals' right to choose. And various proposals have been tabled in the past. So,
yes. In fact, you immediately remind me of the Van Zyl-Slabbert report. And Tsepiso, there is also the issue of municipal elections. You know that that system is perhaps is a mixed system. But in terms of the complaints from people, is that, well, I wouldn't say it's the most ineffective, but that's where most complaints come from. So if you want to make that to be a national thing, so do you think we'll solve the problems when at the call phase of service delivery, it's not able to do it?
So people aren't able to make those choices.
Absolutely.
But let's look at why they came to the Constitutional Court and why this is an appeal. Just give us a little bit of background history to that.
Remember, we've just come from the elections, and then they wanted to contest these elections, but certainly not tied to any political party. And they brought this application actually before the elections, but then the ConCourt said it was not on urgent basis. So I said, no, it's fine. Even after elections, we can still sit and look at it. So that's what is happening now. So they are hoping that perhaps when the court rules, so somehow it will take into the account of what they wish to
Thank you very much. A story that will keep our eyes on. SABC political reporter Mzwandile Mbeje.